So I want to tell the story of two people with similar jobs, similar career paths, and how one of them got rich and one of them did not. All right, so number one, we are going to have teacher number one makes a salary of 50 grand a year and does not invest anything, keeps everything in her savings account. And then number two is going to be teacher number two, makes the same amount of money as teacher number one, but invests $100 every single week. Now doing this, I just want to show the differences here between someone that is going to be a saver and someone that's going to be an investor, and why it is crucial to you and your wallet to be on the investing side of the platform. So right now, this is going to be the teacher that invests $100 every week. As you can see, this monthly contribution right here is going to be $400. Let's just do 4 weeks here in the month. So right now, we're going to have this compounding at 5 years, so that this is going to be the length of time that they were devoting to this $400 a week, $400 a month formula. Average interest rate is going to be 8% because that's around the average rate of the stock market over time. Now we're going to do it annually. So in 5 years, this person is going to have $101,626 off of that original $50,000 contribution, which I just have them as, their annual salary. Now, number two is going to be that initial $50,000 right here. If they are just having this in here, they are not contributing anything to it, but that $50,000 is still in an investment account. Now, over the length of time in 5 years, at the same interest rate of 8% right here, they are going to be having $73,466, which is still a good amount over, because $50,000 is, a large amount to contribute, and over time at 8%, this is what you'll have. But now, what I want to get into is if they're putting it into a savings account. Now, the average savings account, normally, interest rate is going to be 0.24% APY, which is going to be the annual percentage yield. Now, things are a little bit different nowadays, as some banks will have 4% savings rates, but let's just use the average here of 0.24%. So let's change this 8 number to 0.24. $50,000, so let's just say that this sits right in here in a savings account for that amount of time. Let's see what happens. So that over 5 years that just sits there, you only have $50,602.89. So this could have been all the way up to over $100,000 if you would just put it in a different account. And we're going to get into what that is in just a second here. Before we get into this, if you don't mind, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom right, harder than this jawbreaker. Now, that small model that we just did is a very simplistic model and only includes $50,000. If you're someone who's making more than $50,000 a year and able to contribute more than $100 a week, you can see how your savings, your investment accounts is going to be able to skyrocket at an exponential rate if you are just putting in more over time. If you have money, please put it in a vessel that is going to generate you more money, such as a brokerage account or some kind of, bond, yield, interest rate, money market fund, anything like that, okay? Not a savings account or checking account where things are just going to stay stagnant all the time. If you're going to go to anyone that is relatively wealthy that you may even know, such as, a relative, anybody like that, they are never going to tell you that the reason that they got wealthy is because they saved their money. They are going to be business owners, they're going to be people that put their money in smart places, and they're going to be very educated on it. Never have I ever heard anyone say that they got rich based off of working 40 hours a week for 30 years. And also, have you ever noticed that when you put in banks, you often wonder, where does your money go? I mean, what does the bank do? Do they just stash it under a mattress in the bank? What's going on in there? What do they do? They are actually using your money to actually invest for them. So they're taking whatever you put in there and they're using it in other investment vehicles. So why wouldn't you do that? Speaking of why wouldn't you do that, I want to give you a good little thing that you can do here that I do, that has helped me out a bunch, because if you don't have a lot of money that it looks like in your checking account, you're going to be very hesitant to spend that money. So what I do is I only keep about $5 grand in my checking account just for little emergencies that pop up. The rest of it I just ship right off to that brokerage account because I'm going to be generating a higher return on it. But to me, when I look at my bank some of the times, I'm not going to be thinking that I have a lot in there because I only have $5,000. If I kept my whole net worth inside that bank account, I'd be like, oh my gosh, well, I have a bunch. I can just spend it all. Keep that in mind. Make yourself minimalistic. It's going to help you out in the long run. Key takeaways to this: Stocks are going to be generating about 8 to 10% a year on average. This can be about 5% with certain bonds. Money market funds are going to be over 4%. And then some savings accounts right now can get over 4%. But like I said, the average yield on it is 0.24. So keep in mind that's a very low rate. But speaking of this, if you want to see the top bank rates of 2023, I do have a video on it. Go ahead and click it up there. And thanks, y'all.